everybody, and welcome to the Your Natural Healer channel. And my name is Tammy, and this is the Crystal Educational Series where you are going to learn about a specific crystal, its history, all the benefits, the physical healing, the emotional healing, the metaphysical, spiritual healing. Before we even begin, I ask that if you're not subscribed to the channel, if you would consider doing so. You can turn off that notification. That is not going to offend me whatsoever. I get it. I don't want my cell phone blowing up either. Give the video a thumbs up, leave a positive comment, even if it's just an emoji, and share the video. All those things really do truly help the channel. So in advance, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so are we ready to learn about this episode's crystal? All right, I know I am, so let's get this party started. Let's learn all about onyx. Now, onyx is a type of chalcedony, and it occurs naturally with tiny little banded parallel layers. It can be found in various places throughout the world, including Mexico, Brazil, Argentina, South Africa, Madagascar, India, and the United States. Now, the ancient Egyptians, they loved onyx, and it is said in around 3000 BC that, they found some pottery and other utensils that were made from onyx, and they found that at dig sites, and they were able to date them to about 3000 BC. However, the mineral was first reported in 77 AD by Pliny the Elder. And as you will see in a lot of these crystal videos, when we talk about the Romans, Pliny the Elder comes up quite a lot. Now, he had a book called I used to take Latin in high school, the Naturalis Historia, and I totally butchered that with the Latin syllables, but that's okay. And that book described certain techniques to artificially dye and color other chalcedony to look like onyx, because onyx was just so revered by the Romans. So one method actually included boiling chalcedony with sugar and then soaking it in hydrochloric acid. Another technique described in his book said that they would heat chalcedony and then soak it with nitric acid to remove all purities. Now I have to laugh because 77 AD, it's almost 2000 years ago, and they were faking crystals back then. I mean, we talk about a lot of crystals lab grown and heat treated and dyed, and here, the ancient Romans, they were faking crystals as well. So I find that very, very funny. Anyway, sorry, I had to just note that. Okay, so the ancient Romans and Greek societies, they actually used onyx in jewelry, amulets, as well as carving materials. And you'll see a lot of things carved in the present time, a lot of animals and various statues, chessboards. Like I have a carved onyx raven. But you'll see a lot of black carvings that are made from onyx. But you have to be careful too, because again, there are crystal vendors out there who are like the ancient Romans, and they are not using true onyx. So always buy from a reputable source. Now, there was one Roman myth that gave onyx a very unique origin story. So the myth goes that when the world was still new, Venus, who's the goddess of love and beauty, she was sleeping on the banks of sacred river Indus in India. So she was sleeping, and her son Cupid, who we all know Cupid from Valentine's Day, he came along to give her a manicure. He wanted to give his mom a manicure. So he decided to use one of his enchanted arrows, to give her the manicure. Well, as the pieces of her fingernails fell off into the water, the pieces as he trimmed them down and, did whatever he did, they sank to the bottom of the river and were transformed into onyx. So very interesting. Now there's a medieval lapidary, and that's a text which describes gemstones and all their powers. And it basically said that, and hold on, I'm going to read this here because I have a quote, and I don't want to butcher the quote because I don't have it memorized. It says, quote, "Black onyx has bad virtues because he who wears it at the neck or at the back will see devils. It causes many frivolous things, brings anger and disagreement, but it also gives hardiness." Unquote. So, because of this, people were advised to wear sardonyx instead, which is different than pure black onyx. Um, or if they were to wear black onyx, they were told to wear carnelian with it. So that is very, very interesting. So just, take a moment to think about that, how, the energy of carnelian and what we know about carnelian, and now what you're going to be learning about the energy of black onyx, and what those two do together. Is there anything that is opposing? So very interesting combination there. So onyx has also been referred to several times in the Bible. And they even say it is possible that it's the middle stone in the high priest's breastplate. Now, after King David gave his throne up to his son Solomon, he went out to gather precious metals for his new temple, and one of those precious, not just metals, excuse me, materials, one of those materials was black onyx. So let's talk about chakra association now. And black onyx has three, and that would be the root, the solar plexus, and the third eye. Now, the root chakra, that makes a lot of sense because onyx is a black stone, and we know that, the majority of black and red stones do work with the root chakra, which houses our stability, sense of security, or safety, all of our basic needs. And then our solar plexus, that's our willpower and our confidence. And then everybody knows the third eye, it's our intuition. As far as planetary association goes, black onyx draws on the energy of Earth, Mars, and Saturn. So again, we think Earth, we think of the root chakra, and Earth energy is all about grounding. Mars energy, a lot of people think Mars and angry and fighting. But Mars energy is really more about assertiveness and drive. And then Saturn energy is about life lessons and destiny. The zodiac association is Leo. And if you think of the lion, I always think of like the Wizard of Oz and the Cowardly Lion. So you think of confidence, which there's that solar plexus now. And some of the qualities of Leo is this: they like to be the center of attention. They're very, very dramatic, but they're very, very happy as well. Elemental energy associated with black onyx is earth. And again, earth energy is a symbol of abundance, stability, solidarity. And again, that goes back to that root chakra. Okay. If you're into numerology, the vibration number for black onyx is 6. So all crystals have all different types of attributes. They have spiritual healing properties, mental or emotional healing properties, as well as physical healing properties. And Onyx teaches us the importance of self mastery, or the ability to harness our own strength and focus in the pursuit of our most important goals. So that's really combining that solar plexus energy, our self confidence, our will, and really tying it to our root chakra. Okay. It is also just so grounding. It's very centering, and very balancing. And that's great for anybody who has really great spiritual aspirations, because self mastery is one of the most important aspects of self realization. that being able to control our emotions and to think without speaking. I mean, when I think of mastery, I immediately think of like monk. Um, and attaining enlightenment, excuse me, or any other high spiritual state, it really takes a lot of dedication and a willingness to really look deeply at ourselves and our world. And that's where the third eye chakra comes in. Because remember, our third eye chakra is not all about intuition. It's also being able to take that third eye and turn it inward and looking at ourselves. So that dedication, that willingness, that grit and determination from the solar plexus now dovetails with the third eye chakra to really be able to look within ourself. Onyx provides that strength, and it's a steadiness of a vision to see the truth and to align ourselves accordingly. Onyx, it provides such a deep root connection. And it really allows us to draw from the wider world and the universe, the whole universe, to really augment our own energy pools. Now, as far as emotional or mental healing properties, onyx does have some. It is very calming. That can help reduce some anxiety, and it can also help reduce, stress and grief. We talked about the solar plexus. So it promotes self confidence, self control, and independence, allowing us to stand up straight and tall and shoulders back and chest up and head held high. It also helps us to really logically work through our emotions, particularly when it comes to the negative emotions, things like fear and anger, which while raw emotions do come from the sacral chakra, fear and anger usually together come from or affect the root chakra, because it's normally fear and anger of something within our basic needs that causes these negative emotions to occur. So onyx can really show us the root cause behind our unhappiness. And it can give us simple solutions to most of our problems. These solutions are very simple on the surface, but sometimes they really require us to do some dedicated work on our part, meditating, taking some steps back and reanalyzing, again, turning that third eye inward and reflecting on ourselves. Um, it provides us with such strength and determination so we can do what we feel is necessary. It's a fantastic crystal for conflict resolution because its energy does encourage us to sit in non-judgment, carefully listening to both sides of an argument, assessing all the facts before jumping to conclusions. So if you're someone who is in a position where you're dealing with conflict resolution, black onyx can definitely help support you in that role. It's also an excellent tool for students and anybody who's actively learning new information or even a new skill set. Because I said, we talked about, it helps us, logically work through our emotions. It stimulates logical and analytical thinking. And and it gives us that ability to see our connections and to arrive at accurate conclusions. And that's the key. We want accurate conclusions. We don't want conclusions based off of guessing. Okay. It's very helpful, onyxes, when we need to take a closer look at our own life and really make some big and wise decisions. It helps us to realistically examine all of our actions and our beliefs, and to help us determine what course of action is truly going to serve our highest good. Onyx, it reminds us to stay focused on the things that are inside our circle of control and not waste precious energy complaining about the things which we cannot control. And we do that so much. That is one of the hardest things in life to learn to do, is to let go and not worry about and not complain about things we have no control over. So if you find someone who is if you're constantly having trouble with, you know, with complaining about those things and not being able to just let go, black onyx can definitely help you with that. You know, if our hearts are really set in making a difference, onyx can show us how to get involved and how to expand that circle of influence. Okay. Now, as far as physical healing, it does have some attributes. For centuries, it's really been used to ease childbirth, to hasten labor. Um, ladies who are going through that could have onyx with them in, I was going to say in the room, but not everybody has, you know, has childbirth at a hospital. So, but anyway, having onyx within your presence can help ease that childbirth and labor. Um, Now, for those of you who are metaphysical healers, you may not know this, but as a Reiki master teacher, and I'm big into crystal healing. Um, it's really a great crystal for treating conditions in the feet and the lower half of the body. So again, it's that root chakra, you know, the legs, the thighs, the knees, all the way down to our toes. Just all of those things can really, you can utilize onyx to help with any of those conditions. It's also believed to increase endurance and physical strength, making it an excellent talisman for any athletes, especially anybody that's like training for marathons, triathlons, or other demanding competitions, maybe powerlifting, even some things like, oh, what is that thing called? It's CrossFit. You know, you can utilize, have onyx with you or in your area when you are when you're competing and when you're training. It's a good stone also for anybody needing to regain their physical vigor. For instance, if you had a chronic illness or a major health crisis, or you were in the hospital, um, once you are feeling better, having onyx can give you that vitality and help you get that vitality much faster than if you didn't have the onyx in your presence. So as you can see, onyx, it's a really neat crystal, and it's really has some great healing attributes to it. So, I hope that if you don't have any onyx in your life, that you incorporate some, and that's all I have.